speaking of games and speaking of retro and all that stuff, let's just dive into Nintendo, because once again, and this isn't old, but this is, or I shouldn't say this isn't new, they do this all the time. So Nintendo is suing some, they call it pirate websites for millions. It's basically where you get ROMs and emulators, stuff like that. Actually, I never even heard of these sites before, but I guess they were among the more popular ones. They were bringing in like a couple million views or visitors per month.
Okay, just on the websites alone.
Yeah, so, and I guess some had some Patreon stuff going on or donations and things like that, so they were making money off of it.
Yeah,
so
that's where you cross the line.
Yeah. July 19th, they filed a suit in an Arizona federal court against the operator of two popular retro gaming sites. Those were LoveRoms.com and LoveRetro.com or co. I'm assuming it's .com, but anyway, maybe it is .co. Never been there. Both owned by one guy, Jacob Mathis, yeah. So, I mean, ROMs and emulators, depends who you talk to. Most people side with, they're okay with it. Legally, what is it? I mean, how do you feel about it, really?
I mean, it's one of those things. You just can't charge like a lot of times. Like if you were making money off of it, then a lot of times Nintendo would just be like, "You need to take it down."
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's really up to Nintendo on how they want to handle it. I mean, they own the properties of it, so I don't really have an opinion on it, just because I get both sides of it.
Yeah.
I mean, these are really old games. And, like, you probably wouldn't see somebody like Sony going after somebody if they built the ROM for, like, Crash Bandicoot.
Mm-hmm.
At least they wouldn't think... Well, it would be Activision probably more than Sony right now.
Yeah. Which they do have emulators for PS1.
Yeah.
And
so, I don't know. It's just, like, one of those things, like, I don't know if it hurts their overall sales. Like, the type of people that are playing these games probably haven't potentially bought a Nintendo console in a while.
Well, here's the mindset that we think Nintendo is, and I say we as in like a gaming community if they're into ROMs. Like for me, I used to play ROMs back in the day. I used to just to get that nostalgia back, because trying to rebuy everything is just so damn expensive.
It very much is.
I mean, I have a pretty decent collection for different systems and stuff like that, but at the same time, I'm not opposed to throwing in a ROM of a game that I know. Like, say, if I was going to play those Neo Geo games, I'd rather go and get a ROM than try to spend $300 on one game, plus $1,000 on a system to play it. You can't afford that.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're used and people already bought them and saw them, the company's not making any money.
No, they're not. Not off the consoles or the games.
Like, we have Super Mario Bros. 3 right here, for instance. First of all, it's a common game. Very common game. Why people are probably trying to sell it for $40, $30, maybe more, is why? I don't know. It's ridiculous. But anyway, that's what you probably end up paying for just to play that game.
Yeah.
Plus to get the system, which could be another $40 or something like that. Depends on where you go. Depends on where you get it. I think the biggest issue is the fact that Nintendo is basically making you repay every single time you want to play these games.
Yeah, every time they have a new console, you have to go and buy the same version.
Yeah. So really, when it comes down to it, it's frustrating. Is it wrong? It's their property. They can, if they want to handle it that way, and you buy it again, then that's what happens.
I guess one could argue though too, like if you've bought it once, then you probably have the rights to keep playing it.
See, that's the big thing though.
Yeah.
And that's the kick in the ass basically from Nintendo, is they're basically saying, screw you, you want to buy it again.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And you're basically just paying to buy it on the one console if you want to do it again. Like, that's why people are always like, oh, we just get a RetroPie or get the ROM instead of buying the NES Classics, which we did. But I like having NES Classic because, it's an official thing. There's a bunch of games on there for a lot cheaper than you could buy them out physically.
Yeah.
And it's an official thing. So it's nice to be able to have, it's going to work. And like some ROMs, depends on what you get. Depends where you download them too. They can come with viruses. They can come broken. They can, whatever. There's a whole thing. But anyway, well, that's another thing too. Like that, it's it's not hooked to a system. Like, you actually have it. So it's not like going to, oh, I bought it for Wii. No, I have a Wii U. Well, I gotta buy it again?
Yeah.
If I want to play it. You know, I haven't played it in a while, but I already sold my Wii. Now I gotta buy it again? Alright, fine. I'll do this, I'll buy it again. Oh, I got a Switch. I don't have the Wii U anymore. I sold the Switch so I can buy the Wii. Or I sold the Wii U so I can get the Switch. I gotta buy it again?
It's a vicious cycle.
Exactly. And I don't think that's fair. I don't think the gaming community think it's fair. And so, yeah, I mean, that's why ROMs are always going to exist. Just because these shut down, I mean, they're actually suing them for millions. Will they get their millions? I doubt it. Because
I don't know.
they're
I'm
talking
curious
like,
how much they may actually make. I guess maybe from ad profits.
I don't know. It depends. I mean, most people, if something's free, they're not going to... most people, not everybody, but most of the time, they're just going to get the free thing and moonwalk out of there. They're not going to be giving them any...
But I mean, as long as the ads are up there on page, like if there's ads playing on each of the pages, then potentially the website
for the website itself, which goes to argue, oh well, they're just interested in my website. They have no, you know what I mean? Like they didn't have to download that for them to see that ad.
Yeah,
I guess they can make an argument like that. I don't know.
I would love nothing more for Nintendo to get kicked in the pants, but it's probably not going to happen.
That'd be hilarious if they lost somehow.
Yeah.
Which I doubt that would ever happen. But, yeah, I mean, that's to me, like I said, I don't think there's anything wrong with it, even as a collector. But, there's people that collect and are really against it because I do appreciate having, like, the actual putting a game in a console. I think it's a feeling that it's different. And the fact that you have the system and you're playing on the original is it means more than having, like, say you download all the ROMs you could ever have. I think you appreciate it more if you actually buy the game, you have it, you can put it in, it's physical, you can hold it, you can touch it and smell it if you want to, because then if you have all these ROMs, you'll play 2 minutes of this, switch to another game, play 2 minutes of that, switch, like, you'll just keep going and skip over games. You'll never really, it's just, I think it's great to find out if you like a game, because there's so many times where people are gonna be like, oh, it's a great game, oh, you should buy this. You go to look for it, oh, well, it's a $80 game, and it's used, is it really worth the $80, and then so now you get a chance to play it, try it out, and you're like, oh, you know what, I would love to have this in my collection. Sure, I'll go out and buy it. And then you can do that if you want to. I mean, the legality of all this is, the one argument is, if you own the game, you have the right to the ROM.
You would say, yeah.
But it depends on what the law is, because that's not really the case. I mean, basically, I don't know. It's basically you're just getting the ROM off. I mean, if you buy the ROMs and someone's selling it, I think that's wrong, because it's free elsewhere, and that person shouldn't be selling you ROMs. That just, if you bought ROMs, then it's not a good idea. But I don't know. It's just it goes either way, because at the same time it's Nintendo's property, and then at the same time it's just Nintendo's being dicks. I mean, they're dicks everywhere. YouTube, they don't want you making money for anything. Which, as a business, it makes sense, but as a community, yeah, But
I guess they don't have to care. Like, that's the problem, is that they don't care.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt anything with their PR, because they have such a vibrant fan base.
$150,000 for the infringement of each Nintendo copyrighted work.
Yeah.
So up to $2 million.
That's why I'm never pirating anything again.
Pass. Were you pirating?
Well, I mean, like the movies, like the Fire Stick.
Oh, well, that's not your fault.
They can come after you for that.
They were just happened to be on there.
They just happened to be there.
It depends on. Listen, just don't sell anything. There's a legality somewhere. Like, for instance,
could not redistribute.
Yeah.
For profit.
But, and again, I don't make the laws. Nintendo doesn't make the laws. The laws are the laws, so it depends. Depends on where you are, depends on what it is, but, am I against ROMs? Not really. I mean, it gives you a chance to play some things that you would never get a chance to, and the real issue is when people try to sell these old games for inflated prices, and it's hard, and things are rare, and things aren't translated. So ROMs, people can translate them. They can mod them to make them work better, and that's pretty neat. And there's homebrew games, like there's a Sonic game that has like Sonic 1 through Knuckles, and you can actually play all of them. It's one just long game, and you can play them all with, you can play them with 3 players.
Well, that's neat.
Yeah, co-op. And then, yeah, it's just things like that. It's just, it adds to the games, and, I mean, but yeah, anyway. So yeah, Nintendo's hoping to get millions from these people. Will that be the case? I don't know. We will find out soon and see what happens. Maybe they'll win and shut every single ROM brewing website down
probably not.
forever.
Another one will pop up eventually.
It'll be an underground
Can't keep them
army.
down.
So, anyway, moving on. Let's
LimeWire and Napster will come back and they'll make video game mods free.
LimeWire. Although you'll have 50 viruses on your computer.
Exactly.
So let's talk